Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 7. After Vidura ate sumptuously and took sufficient rest, he was comfortably seated. Then the king began to speak to him, and all who were present then there listened. So, like I mentioned last time, Vidura is the brother of the king. Uh, what's his name?
Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra. Thank you very much. Vidura is the brother of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. So he's a father figure for the Pandavas. He was righteous, he was dharmic, and hence he was not liked for his truthful statements. And Duryodhana, when in power as the prince, he had banished Vidura from the kingdom. So after the Pandavas won, finally Vidura came back from pilgrimage, and his main intention was to speak to his brother, who was the former king of Hastinapur, uh, Dhritarashtra, and remind him that this is the time to, you know, give up all material activities and fully dedicate for spiritual activities and prepare for death. That was the idea. So that's what we are going to hear from Vidura about preparing spiritually for the last phase of our life. Yudhishthiruvācha api smarathayo no yusmat pakshachhaya samedhitan vipad visagneyadir mochitayat samatrakaha. Maharaj Yudhishthir said, "My uncle, do you know, do you remember how you always protected us, along with our mother, from all sorts of calamities? Your partiality, like the wings of a bird, saved us from poisoning and arson." So Vidura protected the Pandavas because he was the minister. He had his spies, and he could find out what plot Yudhishthir was doing against the Pandavas to kill them. So multiple times Vidura did the service of saving their lives because he knew he needs to protect the righteous from the non-righteous people. Although one is in power, the other isn't. See, the difference between Vidura, we should appreciate that although these are great personalities like Bhishma Dev, Kripacharya, and all these wonderful personalities, Drona and whatnot, they're great personalities. They're in Bhagavatam, they're in Mahabharata. They're not ordinary people like you and I, right? Having said that, because they were being nurtured by the ruling family, they never said anything against the ruling family. Vidura was not like that. Vidura, although was being also nurtured by the ruling family, was being sustained by the ruling family, he spoke up for what is right. He took the initiative to do the right thing, right? That is protecting the Pandavas, right? And that's why he's so dear to Krishna. He's considered as a great person because of his nature. Not a great person, but a great devotee of Krishna. So devotee of Krishna always does the right thing, regardless of partiality or not. So he has been partial to the Pandavas, which is the right thing to do because they're on the right side. Kaya vritya varittam vas charadbhi shiti mandalam tirthani kshetra mukhyani sevita sevi sevitani tha bhutale. While traveling on the surface of the earth, how did you maintain your livelihood? At which holy places and pilgrimage sites did you render service? So Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking his uncle, like, where were you? What were you doing? What were the holy places you visited? This is an opportunity to hear about the holy places he visited, but more importantly, the holy people that Vidura met and what he learned from them. Bhavat Vidha Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swanta Thena Gadabhrita. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified, because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart. You turn all places into places of pilgrimage. It's a very powerful statement. My Lord, is, Yudhishthir Maharaj is referring to Vidura, that devotees like you are holy places personified. Because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart, you turn all places into places of pilgrimage. So it is said, when a pure devotee walks into a place, all the holy places actually walk in by through the dust of the lotus feet of the pure devotee. So when in the US we established the Krishna house, uh, I asked my mentor what kind of housewarming ceremony I should do. He said, "Well, we are devotees. So for us, we just invite the pure devotee, and by the dust of his lotus feet, all the holy places, holy rivers, come." And my spiritual master, His Holiness Ramappa Swami, as he entered the place, he looked through all the rooms, he looked through everything, and his dust touched the place, and we considered that the housewarming ceremony. He he spoke some very sweet words, made fun of me as uh, some wonderful devotees love to do, and that was it. Same thing we did. The place. Some of you have been to my Balaganj place residence in Kolkata. We we had Guru Maharaj come in. He looked at the altar. He looked at our library. He looked at the rooms. He took a little rest. He had prasadam at my house, and that's it. Now, this is a funny story I'll share with you. So when we first, you know, took this place, this place was on rent for a while because we used to live somewhere else, and the tenants weren't the most nice people. They had their liquor business and they owned bars and pubs and things like that. So not the most sattvic people. And this place was actually known to have ghosts. So when we were looking for maid servants, we heard the maids used to call our place the place where ghosts are. And not one actually, multiple nights I have had that experience where there's a particular room where I lost a few of my relatives. That special room only. Three actually people left their bodies. Where whenever I would enter the place, the door would shut, something would happen, and then I would feel the negative vibes from that place. Some presence of some negative entity. But after my spiritual master walked in through the place, and his lotus feet touched our house, no more those experiences, no more ghost experiences. So it's very powerful because a pure devotee of the Lord is the personification of the holy Dham. It's very so. Imagine if we become pure devotees, right? How powerful is that, right? When we become pure devotees of Krishna, we just being in a place, would that place would become sanctified. And we coming to somebody's house, the house becomes sanctified. We, just shaking hands with someone, their existence will become sanctified. That is the beauty of a devotee. What has become a pure devotee? So, where are we? We are all devotees. We are all mixed devotees. We are not pure devotees yet. We have material aspect, we have spiritual aspect, but we are devotees nevertheless. So, to the degree we carry Krishna in the heart, to that degree is our purity, and to that degree we can actually influence or sanctify the other person we come in contact with. Right? It's very powerful actually. When somebody opens the door for us, when somebody does something as a gesture, they might not realize, but they're serving a devotee of the Lord. And by doing so, they're getting devotional credit, which is far superior to karmic credit. Now, that shouldn't mean that we become like, serve me, you're getting benefited. Of course, they're getting benefited, but that's not the mood we carry. We carry a mood of servant, right? That we want to serve people. We want to, how do we serve them? By giving them Krishna consciousness, by giving them association, by giving them access to the vast treasure of Krishna consciousness that we have received, right? But it's important that we understand that pure devotees are embodiments of all holy things, of all holiness. Even so much so that demigods stand up when pure devotees arrive, right? Because pure devotees are considered higher than demigods, like Narad Muni, such great personalities. I can tell many stories about that, but I will not get distracted. We'll continue with Srimad Bhagavatam. My Lord, devotees like you, like your good self, are verily holy places personified, because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart. You turn all places into places of pilgrimage. Very powerful. Okay, text 11. Somebody wants to read?
May I read, Prabhuji?
Please.
Hare Krishna. Apina Surdas Tat Bandhavah Krishna Devata Drishta Shruta Va Yadavah Swapuryam Sukham Asate. My uncle, you must have visited Dwarka. In that holy place are our friends and well-wishers, the descendants of Yadu, who are always wrapped in the service of Lord Sri Krishna. You might have seen them or heard about them. Are they all living happily in their abodes?
Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
being asked about the whereabouts of Krishna and the Yadu dynasty. Okay, next verse.
Should I read?
Please.
इति उक्तो धर्मराजेन सर्वं तत्संवर्ण्यात् यथानुभूतां क्रमाशो विनायदुकुलक्ष्याम्. Thus, being questioned by Maharaj Yudhishthira, Mahatma Vidur gradually described everything he had personally experienced, except news of annihilation of Yadu dynasty.
So that means by now Yadu dynasty has already been annihilated. Okay, next verse.
Nav apriyamha durvishaham nrinam swayam upasthitam navedayat sakaruno dukhitan drashtum akshama. Compassionate Mahatma Vidur could not stand to see the Pandavas distressed at any time. Therefore, he did not disclose this unpalatable, unbearable incident because calamities come of their own accord.
Okay, nothing to explain there. Kanchit kalam atharvatsit satkrito devatat sukham Kratur Jeshthasya Shreyaskrit Sarvesam Sukham Avaham. Thus, Mahatma Vidur, being treated just like a godly person by his kinsmen, remained there for a certain period just to rectify the mentality of his eldest brother and in this way bring happiness to all the others. Somebody wants to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Go ahead.
Mary.
Yes.
अविव्रद आर्यमा दंदम यथावद अगकरिषु यवद दधरा शूद्रत्वम सापद वर्ष शतम yama. As long as Vidura played the part of a Shudra, being cursed by Manduka Muni, Aryama officiated at the post of Yamraj to punish those who committed sinful acts. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. As long as Vedura played the part of a Shudra, being cursed by Manduka Muni, Aryama officiated at the post of Yamaraj to punish those who committed sinful acts. So Vidura is actually Yamaraj. Okay, let's. Wow, Prabhupada's given. Yeah. So Aryama is one of the 12 Adityas, and therefore it was quite possible for him to take charge of the office of Yamraj during the 100 years absence in the form of Vidura. So basically, Yamraj was cursed, and he was cursed to be born from a Shudra. So Vidura happened. So Vidura is actually Yamraj, and Yamraj, as we know, is a great devotee of the Lord. Yamraj is present, in fact, when Bhagavatam is being spoken by Shukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. So wherever Bhagavatam is spoken, Yamraj is sitting there. So it is described that Yamraj is a great devotee of the Lord, and he's not doing his job when Bhagavatam is spoken. So it's wonderful to have Bhagavad Kathas at home, because just like Hanuman also comes when Ram Katha happens, Yamraj also comes when Bhagavatam happens. And he doesn't do his job. He's completely absorbed in hearing Bhagavatam. So he's not actually doing his job as the head of death. So here, Vidura, as we are hearing about him, he is Yamraj reincarnate. Yudhishthiro labdha rajyo drishtva pautram kalan kulan dharam bhratribhir loka palabhir mumude paraye shriya. Having won his kingdom and observed the birth of one grandson competent to continue the noble tradition of his family, Maharaj Yudhishthir reigned peacefully and enjoyed uncommon opulence in cooperation with his younger brothers, who were all expert administrators to the common people. Right? Finally, the world was under the rightful and righteous reign of Yudhishthir Maharaj and his brothers, the Pandavas. And knowing, so, for great people, whether it's leaders or entrepreneurs or big people, having a lineage is very important who would carry forward the great legacy of their family. So in this case, Yudhishthir Maharaj was happy that he had a grandson who's competent, who's loved and blessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who would carry the noble tradition of their family forward. And with this, he could rule nicely. Because otherwise, you see in Bhagavatam, you will read many of these places where kings don't have children. And then their actual administrative work gets jeopardized because they're so focused on somehow or other having a child, having a son more appropriately, right? But in this case, Yudhishthira Maharaj was completely satisfied and he could rule his kingdom for the rest of his existence. Evam griheshu saktanam pramattanam tad ithaya atyak ramad avigyata kala parama dustarha. Insurmountable eternal time imperceptibly overcomes those who are too much attached to family affairs and are always engrossed in their thoughts. Let's read that one more time. Insurmountable, that means that cannot be overcome. Insurmountable eternal time. Very poetic way. Bhagavatam is spoken in a very poetic way. Poetic way of describing time's power. Insurmountable eternal time imperceptibly overcomes. Imperceptibly, you don't notice time. Time is something, it's like a slow poison. You don't notice it. So insurmountable eternal time imperceptibly overcomes those who are too attached to family affairs and are engrossed in their thoughts. Purport. I am now happy. I have everything in order. My bank balance is quite enough. I can now give my children enough estate. I am now successful. The poor beggar sannyasis depend on God, but they come to beg from me. Therefore, I am more than the supreme God. These are some thoughts which engross the insanely attached householder who is blind to the passing of eternal time. So basically, when things are okay, the attached person starts to think life is good, I have money, I have all my obligations taken care of, right? I don't need God. I am the one supplying to all these people. So, right. So that's a natural tendency of people who are not sufficiently Krishna conscious. Warning, warning from Srimad Bhagavatam. Do not become like this. Krishna will give happy times. Krishna will give tough times. Tough times, it's very easy to remember Krishna. Happy times, we must make an effort to constantly stay in that same mode of remembering Krishna. Then, my dear Krishna, thank you for the happy times. I know any moment things can change. Padam padam vipadam natesham. Srimad Bhagavatam only says this, that every step there is danger in this material world. By your grace, Krishna, you're keeping me protected. But I know this material world can flare up any time. And hence, I am constantly praying, begging to you for your protection, for your mercy. This is the mind of a devotee. You don't take things for granted. You don't take good times for granted, because you know Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, time is changing, right? Constantly, the only constant is the changing aspect of time and my relationship with you. So knowing this, Shita Ushna, Sukha Dukha, happiness, distress, summer, winter, we don't remove, we don't get in the mindset of, okay, I don't need Krishna anymore. We don't get in the mindset of laxing in our Krishna consciousness. Just like we hold on to Krishna's lotus feet during difficult times, we hold on to Krishna's lotus feet during easy times also. Telling Krishna, my dear Krishna, I want you. This is all good. This is all nice. But my focus is your lotus feet. I'm not distracted. I'm here, fully dedicated, focused at your lotus feet. Right? That's a devotee's mindset. So make sure when times are good, we also are in Krishna consciousness as much as we are helplessly asking Krishna for help during bad times. Right? The helpless nature of a devotee is the crown jewel of a devotee. Because a true devotee, a humble devotee, knows that we are helpless in this material world. Without Krishna, we are helpless. And we will see, Bhagavata will show many instances like that. That what happens when Krishna disappears from the chariot of our life. Right? So, create a mental exercise of crying out to Krishna when chanting his holy name, crying out to Krishna when remembering him. My dear Krishna, thank you so much. May I always remember you. May I always sustain my service to your lotus feet. Right? Constantly endeavoring to be in that consciousness. Yes, Prayash.
Hare Krishna, Babu.
Hare
So you are mentioning about calling for Krishna's help and feeling helpless, and I have been into instances where like such things happened where nothing is working on. I pray to Krishna, Krishna reciprocates, right? Now my question is, in your last 20 years of in your Krishna consciousness journey, have you ever felt like sharing those reciprocation stories with people decreases that reciprocation from Krishna?
I have heard something like that, that sharing such stories of reciprocation decreases things. But I have a big mouth. And if that gives faith to other devotees, why not? So I have done it. And till date, Krishna has not stopped reciprocating with me. And I'm most grateful to him for that. But I have heard that reciprocations should not be shared. I don't know where it says in the scriptures, but wonderful devotees have said that. But now, who I shared that with is with people who will actually feel nourished by that. Oh, this fool is getting reciprocated by the Lord, so I have hope, right? I don't share it with people who are envious, who are not Krishna conscious, or who not even understand, who would think, oh, he's man of science, look at him. He's so stupid, so blind. So I don't share it with those kinds of people. But those who are devotees, who are aspiring, who are also getting reciprocation, sharing such reciprocations actually enhance each other's faith. There is a shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam that says, Parasparano kathanam pavanam bhagavad yashaha yathoratir yatha tushtir nivritir mitho atmanaha. Parasparanu kathanam. What do devotees do? Parasparanu kathanam. They speak to each other. What do they speak about? Pavanam bhagavad yashaha. The purity, the glory, the yash of Bhagavat, of Krishna. Yathoratir yatha tushtir. Rati means deep love for the God, deep love for Krishna. So Rati, Yatho Ratir, the love for Krishna becomes more intensified as a result. Yatha Tushtir, the heart becomes satiated, right? In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that what do my pure devotees do? In chapter 10 he says that Raman teacher, right? They feel, they speak to each other my glories, and they feel satisfied, and their heart starts becoming jubilant in association with each other. So that's what devotees do. Friendly devotees who love each other, who love Krishna together, they share the reciprocation of the Lord, they share realizations. So parasparanu kathanam pavanam bhagavat yashaha. Yatho ratir yatha tushtir. So rati, the love for the Supreme Lord grows. Tushti, the satisfaction of the heart also grows. Nivritin mitoatvanaha. Nivriti means getting rid of the mithya, the temporary thing, the material things. That today I give up these material addictions that I have, these material habits that I have. And the other friend says, well, you're giving up, I will also give up. That's how people help each other. I mean, when me and Nishodanandana were becoming, slowly becoming a little bit Krishna conscious, giving up meat eating was the most difficult part. So he was helping me and I was helping him, right? He would steal the meat from my plate, and then eventually Krishna helped him. He also became a vegetarian. One day he just gave up everything. And for me it was a gradual transition. But nevertheless, we helped each other give up the habit of meat eating, and eventually onion and garlic, and eventually other things. Right. So yeah, with near and dear ones who are like-minded devotees, I feel it is okay to share, not from a perspective of look at me, Krishna really loves me, but from a perspective of this happened to someone like me. I'm an insincere devotee. I know that. And yet the Supreme Lord is so loving. He's reciprocating in some ways, in such ways. So then what happens? The faith in the heart is like, wow, even without being pure devotee, if I'm getting so much reciprocation, what would happen if I actually chanted nicely? What would happen if I actually, was a sincere devotee? Wow. And hearing this, everybody feels jubilant that, wow, Krishna is so kind that ye thamam prapadyante tamsa saiva bhajamyaham. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that to the degree you surrender I'm to be, to that degree I reciprocate. But he does so much more than that. Right? I know I'm not surrendered, yet Krishna is reciprocating. I know I'm not a pure devotee, yet Krishna is treating me like a pure devotee. How kind is Krishna? So, as a result of that, the kindness of Krishna actually makes us more sincere in our acts. I need to get my act together. I need to chant nicely. Krishna is so kind. How can I not love him? How can I not serve him? So, that's the purpose of sharing reciprocation, sharing our miracles and things like that with each other. Not the purpose of showing off, look how great a devotee I am, but more from a perspective of look how fallen I am, and yet I'm getting the Lord's mercy. And the other devotee will also say, oh, look at me too. I'm getting the Lord's mercy. Wow, Krishna is so kind. Krishna is so kind. Pavanam Bhagavat Yashaha. Right? So Bhagavat Yash. And when we glorify Krishna, naturally purification happens within the heart. So long answer to your short question. You can share reciprocation of the Lord with those devotees who are like-minded like you, who are not envious of you, and who will feel, motivated and inspired in Krishna consciousness by hearing those words of reciprocation. Does it make sense?
Yes, Roji, thank you so much.
Most welcome. Okay, moving on. In fact, I just want to share this, between devotee friends, as we go to holy places together and whatnot, we become friends with each other and we talk to each other and whatnot. That's the kind of conversation to be had, right? Is the Lord's reciprocation, the miracles, the realizations from our classes and whatnot. So when we meet each other, that's the kind of, conversations we must have, even if it is 5% of the conversation. It's important to have those conversations because that's what strengthens the friendship. A family that prays together stays together. Friends that pray together stay together, right? Friends that glorify the Lord, become even deeper friends in not in only in this world, but also in the spiritual world. So it's very, very important that we glorify the Supreme Lord together, and that is called, what is that called? Does anyone know? Sankirtan.
Kirtanam, Prabhuji.
Sankirtan. Sankirtan. Kirtan means glorifying alone. Sankirtan means glorifying together, right? In the Sangha of devotees, we glorify the Supreme Lord. So that's very, very purifying, right? Harinam Sankirtan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's gift to all of us. So when devotees get together, we talk about family, friends, happiness, distress, but we also talk about glorifying the Lord. We chant together. We do the, so that's what deepens friendships. That's what friends are for, helping each other, inspire each other to grow in Krishna consciousness. So the insurmountable eternal time imperceptibly overcomes those who are too much attached to family affairs and are always engrossed in their thoughts. So it happens to us also. Often when we have child, when we're in a new relationship, when we are newly married, we are so engrossed in those relationships. Often that takes on superiority over Krishna consciousness. Our remembrance of Krishna starts fading a little bit because Maya Devi has come in her little form to entice us. And that's where friends come in. Wonderful friends in Krishna consciousness call and say, "How are you doing, buddy? Oh, are you remembering Krishna lately? Are you chanting okay?" "No, my chanting has gone down. I am down to 5 rounds." Oh, okay. Well, how can I help you? What can I do should I remind you every day? Would you like to chant together over the phone? Would you like to chant over Zoom? Right? And wonderful things like that friends do for each other so that, not only I'm remembering Krishna, but I want to make sure you also remember Krishna. And together, we help each other grow in Krishna consciousness. That's preaching. That's Srimati Radharani's motto. Right? We just don't want Krishna by ourselves. We want Krishna for all of us. As we go back home, back to Godhead, we want to make sure as the people can board the airplane as we are going back to Godhead. So we do it for each other. We that's what true friendship looks like. So it's important, very important part of our devotee friendships to remind each other, share with each other, grow in our Krishna consciousness. It's very enjoyable also. You develop the taste for Krishna consciousness through this process. Vidurastad abhipritya dhritarashtram abhasata rajan nirgamyatam. So rajan nirgamyatam singhram pasyedam bhayam agatam. Translation: Mahatma Vidura knew all this, and therefore he addressed Dhritarashtra, saying, "My dear king, please get out of here immediately. Do not delay. Just see how fear has overtaken you." Now he's talking to his elder brother, and generally he is very respectful. Now he's speaking, and you will see he will speak very harshly to Dhritarashtra. That's not out of dominance. That may be misunderstood as like, oh, Dhritarashtra's sons lost the war, so now Vidura is taking, revenge. Not at all. A pure devotee does not act like that. Why is Vidura talking like that? Because sometimes devotees need to be shaken up. Wake up! It's time. The house is on fire. How long will you wait to be Krishna conscious? So that's what Vidura is doing. That Dhritarashtra, all your life you have been spiritually and materially blind. Spiritually blind, not caring that your son is such a crook, never corrected him. Materially to you, you don't have eyes, so that's okay. But spiritually also you've been blind. But now that you've done with your kingly duties, you're done with your fatherly duties, you're about to leave your body in a few years. Why are you still sitting in the, over here in the palace? Why are you not out there in Vanaprastha? Why are you not pursuing your Krishna consciousness, your spiritual life? So, to sometimes wake up someone, you have to shake them up. When a doctor takes a knife and cuts somebody open, is Juhi here? She's there? Okay. Uh, that knife, it's the same knife that the dacoit also uses to harm someone. But a doctor uses that knife to save a life, to heal someone. So, same way, sometimes, we might misunderstand, oh, you're a devotee. How can you scream? How can you show anger? Prabhupada, many times he's been found saying, rascals, fools, Buddha, Mahamudha, right? And they would be like, Swamiji, you are a sannyasi. How can you show anger? So we are not Mayavadis, right? We are not Mayavadis. We are devotees. So devotees show all sorts of emotions. So anger has its place when you have to wake someone up, break their false ego. Sometimes it's important to show, you know, a little bit of strength, thereby waking them up from their material slumber, and then eventually, pushing them on the path of devotion. Now, this must be done with a lot of care. There must be a lot of investment that should have been put in before one uses harsh words to help someone. You know, for example, you have a child, or you have an employee, or you have a younger brother, right? Invest in loving relationship. Do things for them, sacrifice for them, so they see that you love them. So when the time comes to punish them or correct them or to use a little bit of harsh treatment to put them on the right path, help them see that you love them. You have invested already so much love. Now that you're being a little strong or strict, they should be able to see, if they have a little intelligence, that this person loves me. They don't mean harm to me. So if they're correcting me, it must be for my own benefit. But if it is something like you are like, I'm the boss, you must bow down to me. And I'm the parent, you're a child, so I'm going to show you who's the boss. When you come from a position of dominance, there is no love. They will bow down to you, like the demigods bow down to Hiranyakashipu. But eventually, Hiranyakashipu gets killed and the demigods rejoiced. They'll wait for you to fall, right? That's not love. That's not how we devotees act. As devotees, we must invest in people, in our relationships, so that when it requires, not so that, we invest because we are devotees, because everybody's part and parcel of Krishna. But only after we have invested, we can correct them. If you have not invested in that relationship, we should not take the privilege of correcting them, right? When you see somebody doing something wrong, you don't say anything because you don't have the right. But when you've invested in them, you have a certain privilege that they have given you. That Prabhuji, you can correct me. Prabhuji, you can put me on the right path. If I do the stupid thing, warn me, wake me up. I tell that to my mentor all the time. I'm like, please make sure if I'm doing something stupid, you don't be super soul. That's one of my angry things. When I get angry with him, I tell him, please stop being super soul and tell me what to do. Because super soul is like Anumanta Apitrishta. Like he just lets things happen and he just watches things. Super soul does not interfere. Unless we pray to Krishna, my dear super soul, become Sham Sundar and tell me what to do. Then he becomes our inner voice and he guides us, right? But generally, super soul just he allows things to happen according to karma and he witnesses things. So I tell my mentor, don't be super soul. Tell me what is right. If you have to correct me, tell me immediately. Don't let things just go on. I'm going in the wrong direction, and finally you tell me. So it's important. Why? So because I've given him that, he will come down heavy on me, when it's required. And I know it's for my benefit. I'll cry. I might throw tantrums, but I know it's for my benefit. Right? So that is the relationship between us and our spiritual friends, spiritual elder brothers, spiritual mentors, where we give them the privilege to stop us from going down the cliff, right? Especially friends, because we are in our best behavior in front of our seniors. But in front of our friends, we have our real self, and they know what is really going on. So friends can actually help us from falling down the cliff again. So we must have equals in our relationship. We must have seniors and we also must have juniors who we give to, just like a tree. A tree gives us fruits and flowers to the juniors. From the roots, it absorbs nourishment. That means from seniors, we absorb nourishment. And to the equals, we give shade, right? We share with each other. So it's important that we have all three of those relationships nourished. So when in times of difficulty, in times of need, we are strong, we are sheltered, and we are secure in our relationship with Krishna and relationship with each other. Right? I don't know if it is making sense. But when we go to these holy places, when we make friends with each other, make sure that these friendship, these bonds are created where we can hold each other accountable. We can hold each other's hands in moving towards Krishna's lotus feet. Am I understandable? If there's something I say a little fast and you're not able to understand certain words I say, please feel free to stop me, ask me, or chat with me anonymously. Okay. Everybody's on board? Okay, cool. Thank you, Bishop. Next verse. Somebody wants to read? Text 19.
I will read, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. प्रतिक्रिया न यस्येह कुतश्चित् करहिच प्रभु स एष भगवान् काल सर्वेषां नः समागत. Translation. This frightful situation cannot be remedied by any person in this material world. My Lord, it is the Supreme Personality of Godhead as eternal time, Kala, that has approached us all.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This frightful situation cannot be remedied by any person in this material world. So, what is the frightful situation? The cruel hand of death, right? He has lost all his 100 sons. In one sense, he is living with his enemies. Although the Pandavas don't consider him enemy, they're devotees. They are taking care of Dhritarashtra like their own father, right? But still, imagine losing all your children, the people who you have been wrong to all these decades, are now the ones taking care of you. And you will soon die. You will face the consequences for the things you have done, right? So for a devotee, one sees that as a frightful situation. A non-devotee sees life is good, it's okay, chalta hai, right? But devotee sees, my God, what will happen? You've lived such a life. So Vidura sees that, the consequence. So he said, this frightful situation cannot be remedied by any person in this material world. The material problems can't be solved with material solutions or material people. For material problems, you need spiritual solution. My Lord, it is the Supreme Personality of Godhead as eternal time Kala that has approached us all. Means death is coming. And material problem has to be solved through spiritual means. And for that, he is inviting his brother to start his spiritual journey. Prabhupada says, and because there is no such thing in this material world, this is explained before Dhritarashtra because he might ask Vidura to find out some material remedies for the imminent fearful situation, as he had ordered many times before. Before ordering, however, Vidura informed Dhritarashtra that there was no remedial measure by anyone or from any source in the material world. And because there is no such thing in the material world, death is identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as it is said by the Lord himself in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 34, Kalos Miyaham, right? That famous verse. That what was that movie about atom bomb created?
Oppenheimer, Prabhuji.
Oppenheimer. So that's where it became famous because he saw the mushroom cloud and he said that, quoted that verse from Bhagavad Gita. All right. Text 20. Somebody wants to read?
I'll read.
Yes.
येन चैवाभिपन्नोऽयं प्राणेन प्राणे प्रियतमैरपि जना सद्यो वियुज्येत किम उतान्यैर्दनादिभिः.
Whoever, sorry, translation.
Whoever is under the influence of the supreme Kala, eternal time, must surrender his most dear life. And what to speak of other things such as wealth, honor, children, land, and home. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So basically, time takes it all away, right? By eventually, one is good looking, eventually, one won't be good looking. One has power, eventually, one might not be powerful. One has good health, one might not or will not be having good health. So everything is taken away. And when death comes, you can't hold on to anyone, right? I want to tell a story, but then do I have time? It's 8:30 already. Okay. So basically, I'll just quickly tell a story. I don't know if I will be able to say it right, but the king had 4 wives, and he was always focused on the 3 wives. One was, so it is, in short, I'll say 4 wives. One represents the soul, one represents the wealth and the fortune, everything, trophy wife. One represents the relatives, the yes men, the yes women around, that are there, like, you're great, you this, that. And the other one represents the body, I think, because the body is where we put all our efforts in: good clothes, good jewelry, good cream, good this, good that. So when the king was dying, all these wives said, we can only go till the funeral pyre. But the 4th wife, who the king never noticed, she said, I will go all the way with you. Don't worry. I will never leave you. So that is soul or super soul in one sense. So the spiritual aspect, the spiritual treasure stays with us beyond this life. But the material things that we hold on so closely, so dear to us, don't stay beyond this body's existence. So knowing that, especially many of us are entrepreneurs here, it's important that we invest in our permanent bank account along with our temporary bank account. But the permanent bank account takes precedence because that bank account stays beyond the existence of this body. So spiritual relationships, spiritual karma, spiritual activities, any activity in that domain is being deposited in our spiritual bank account. And that's what actually stays with us beyond the crematorium. So with this, we'll end. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. See you next Friday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.